y'all, it's Megan and Andy. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend another busy day with us today. I think this time of year things just kind of change gears from gardening to the hogs to now playing catch up for things that
ain't got done.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've got a vacuum seal our ham that we just recently sliced. I got to get that vacuum sealed and in the freezer.
All right. Well, I'm going down to get started working on the hay barn. I've got to get some gravel spread before I can do anything else. I need to get that gravel spread out down there. So we'll get this tractor started up. Heat it for a second. Looks like I might have to add some fuel. I am going to have to change out the hay spear and put the bucket on. But while it's warming up, I want to give everybody like somewhat of a quick update on some things that have really changed around here. I feel like we've done so much stuff since the last time we really showed this place on camera. First off, there is a new addition here. I know some of y'all are going to say, my goodness, Andy, why in the world you buy another tractor? And sometimes I even question myself and ask myself, why do you buy another tractor? But this one here is a tractor that belonged to a friend of mine, belonged to a local landscape supply place, and he upgraded to a more newer, modern style loader. This tractor sat behind the store after that for, well, pretty much all year last year. And I went out there to buy some stuff from him and just mentioned it to him. Hey, you want to sell that old tractor? And he said, yeah, I'll sell it to you. And he said, I tell you what, he named over all the things wrong with it, which it was several, but none of them have been major, and said, I'll make you a deal on it since you're the one wanting it. And I said, okay. Well, I don't know, probably a week later, he called me and told me what he'd take for it. I told him consider it sold. And the reason I wanted another loader tractor is y'all have heard me mention many times during all of our haymaking videos was my little Kubota down there will not lift high enough to stack these bales over too high. And then on a trailer, I can't stack them but one single run. So I kind of needed another full-size loader tractor to be able to reach up to those higher heights to load hay and stuff. And I wasn't willing to buy another new tractor. It just wasn't worth that. I'd just make do with what I had. I was looking for something cheap that had a loader on it. Well, this is what I found. Now it does have a pin-on bucket, so we're going to have to do some arranging here in order to get a hay spear on it. They make a hay spear that slides on a bucket. I don't necessarily want one of those. And to be quite honest, this tractor here, for what I'll be using it for, I'll probably never use a bucket ever on this tractor since I've got the Kubota tractor. So most likely I'm going to take the bucket off. I actually have a neighbor who has two of these tractors identical to this one, and he has an old hay spear attachment that will fit it, and I think that's what I'm going to get from him. And I am going to be on the lookout for a set of forks to fit it. I don't have a set of forks, but I need to find a set of pin-on forks that'll fit this tractor, and that'll really be all I need. Now I've had to do a little bit of work. We had to put new front tires on it. The back tires do need to be replaced. It was run on a on a paved parking lot, loading mulch and gravel and stuff like that. And, well, pavement is rough on tires. So anyways, in a later video, we will get more detailed about that tractor. And, look behind me here, it's been moved. Figured out what was wrong with the old red and white truck. And lo and behold, it was out of fuel. So it was not out of fuel in the way you would expect though. What happened, and the best I can figure, is it did have fuel in the tank, so it wasn't technically out of fuel. And as many of you may know from when I revived this truck out of the woods, none of the fuel gauges or anything like that work at the moment. So the only thing that I have concluded is these trucks were bad about the pickup tube that's inside the fuel tank breaking off. And so essentially at a half a tank of fuel, it would run out because it couldn't reach the fuel in the bottom of the tank. I think that's what's happened with this truck, because after adding fuel to it, it fired right up, and I've been running it ever since. I guess sometime this winter, I'm going to attempt to pull the bed off of it and pull those sending units out of the tank and try to fix all that. But anyways, that'll definitely be at a later time too. That's not top priority on my list right now. But today, what is top priority is getting this gravel spread underneath the hay barn. Spilled a little bit. This is what I get for trying to hold a camera with one hand and pour fuel with the other. Gives it a good shine. Maybe I should clean this thing up. Look at that. It'd look good if a whole tractor looked like that. So, like I said, I'll give more details on that 545 Ford at some point in time. But I don't know. In the tractor world, that's an extremely strong tractor, like as far as the loader goes. I think they got a lift capacity of like 5,000 pounds or something like that. It's crazy. Any other, like your regular farm tractors that size, the lift capacity is half of that. So I'll probably never max out that tractor as far as loader capacity goes. But anyways, the price was right, and so here it sits. Right there's something else that we're kind of anxious to show y'all, but that's not going to be today either. There's some future plans with that building right there that we're pretty excited about. Plus, we just needed somewhere else to store stuff. It's as simple as that. But anyways, on to the hay barn. Come on, Tiger. I'm going to give everybody a real good look at this place before I get started working. You may notice, before anybody says anything, there's a crack right down the top of the ridge line there. They still got to come back and put a piece of ridge cap in. They messed up and didn't bring enough with them. And he's supposed to come back this week sometime. But other than that, it looks beautiful. Beautiful. I really like the way these footers were done. Being that this is built on field dirt, I feel like this will hold up a whole lot better than a post in the ground. Believe it or not, I have seen posts in the ground sink. And another thing that I really like about having the post on footers is, well, to be honest, all of my buildings that I've built up there in the past have posts in the ground. But I have seen these treated 6x6s rot off underground and you have to replace a post. That ain't gonna happen here because that post is up out of the ground. And if I ever needed to replace a post, it's a very simple process. Unbolt it up there, unbolt it down here. Obviously you'd have to find a way to hold the building up, but it's a very simple process. So the plan for this is, I'm gonna box in this side. That back wall, I am going to have to set probably 2 more posts on that back wall. And then box in this side. It'll be open from this end right here. And this will be the only way to get in and out of this building. I am debating on leaving a section of this front side open. However, that's still yet to be determined. I don't know. But there's a lot of work to do down here. But the good thing is, you know, in reality, if it don't get done, it ain't like we're going to suffer because it's not done. But I do intend on having it done by next hay season. That's my goal. I hope to get it done sooner than that. But the goal is next hay season to have all three sides boxed in. Once again, if it don't get done, you know, it just is what it is. It's still a roof and a structure, and we can still pile hay under this thing if it don't have sides on it. I just want sides on it. So, anyways, let's get to spreading some rock. I ain't 100% sure, but I hope I got enough rock to do what I'm wanting to do. And what my plan is getting everything around the outside of it rocked, and then around these footers rocked. I want this drip line rocked as well. That way, when we have a good rain, it's not beating mud up on the side of the barn. Ideal time to have done this would have been yesterday or the day before because the ground was froze, but the wind has been absolutely brutal. And so I just decided to not fool with it until the wind quit blowing. But I'm sure you can notice, like up at our house, there's that group of pine trees that block the wind, but across here there's nothing to block the wind. And so if I'd have been down here working, it would have been miserable down here. But up there at the house I was able to work and kind of be out of the wind. I think they used 16-foot 6x6s to build this thing. It sure left me with a lot of good cutoff pieces. These right here come in handy for everything. Jacob's already out making him around on the tractor this morning, but one thing I forgot to mention earlier was we also finished up Jacob's plows over Christmas break. Finally got those things done. And he's got them hooked up, riding them around, showing them off.
The only thing we got left on this plow to do is there's a sticker right here, it says Ford, and we got to get one of those. We found one.
What our holdup was this tail wheel. This right here was froze up, so it was quite a challenge to get that thing unfroze, but we finally had time to do it. We got everything fixed up, and he's ready to break some ground if he chooses to, but
They're too pretty. I don't know if I want to go stick them in the ground.
I know that's right. I don't know if I'd want to go stick them in the ground either. But I think what we might have decided was there is an old set of plows up at my grandma's house that belonged to my other grandpa, and I think we may go up there and get those plows for him to actually plow with, and these may just stay a showpiece because they're so pretty. I mean, we don't really want to mess them up.
I would love to bring these at the Foothills Farm Festival or something.
Yeah, it'd be a good piece to add.
Cause it matches the tractor.
Yep. Anyways, there they are. They're finished. So that's something else we can check off of our list. What I'm gonna have to say, y'all, is you just never know what the future holds. What started last year about this time as what was supposed to be a spot for a sawmill shed has now turned into this. And I'll see if we can't go back and find a video of when all this was still wooded and I was just getting started clearing that spot for the sawmill shed. But I never dreamed just a year ago that we'd have this massive hay barn built down here on this spot. So that just makes me wonder, what's it gonna look like next year at this time? I mean, it's just amazing at how plans change and how things change. And honestly, y'all, I don't know if we give y'all enough credit or not, but this right here wouldn't be possible without y'all watching our videos. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, it wouldn't be. Y'all watching our videos is what's made us be able to live the way we're living right now. And it's a true blessing. And I know we put in the work. I know we're the ones taking the risk of throwing everything out there, putting it out online. But at the same time, if it wasn't for y'all watching the videos, none of this would be able to happen. So thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I've about done what I'm going to do as far as with the tractor. I still have a little bit right here that I think I'm going to have to go around and touch up some of this on this side. But I ended up making more room on this side than I ever thought I would. There's plenty of room to drive around back here, and honestly, if I can get me a little bit more rock right there, I would have room to park maybe some of my implements, or I don't know, a trailer or something back here, something that doesn't get used a whole lot. Be a good place to park it and kind of hide it. I actually did not realize I had that much room back here, so I ended up putting more gravel back here than what I intended on because of it. I wanted to be able to drive on this, and I know all that water coming off the roof, this is going to end up being a fairly wet spot. And as far as trying to get grass to grow back here, it's probably not going to work that well once the leaves and everything come on the trees, because the shade from the building plus the shade from the trees, this will probably not be the most ideal spot to grow grass. So I wanted to put rock on it, but because of that, I ended up using more rock back there than I intended. And now I'm slacking on rock up here, which I think I got enough left in that pile to get that. But I'm gonna go to the house and grab a hard tooth rake first and dress up around all the footers and everything. But what I really was hoping for, and because of what I done back here, I don't have enough rock to cover this area, and I really wanted to cover that in rock. It's also a fairly large area right there, but luckily, because of this location, I think there's a whole lot better chance of getting grass to grow back here than it would be on this side. Now, I know the sun is shining on this right now, but trust me, once summertime comes, I don't think this will get very much sun at all, where this right here actually will. At least I think, anyways. I could be wrong. This right here may never see sun. I don't know, because right now it's not sunny, but the sun will be at a different angle that time of year anyways. So it's probably not going to be right away, but eventually I do see me getting more rock. Again, it's amazing how much rock you can put out somewhere. And you know, I guess I could just deal with mud, but I've dealt with mud my whole life, and I want rock on it. But the main reason for doing what I've done here today is so that I can get around this thing and put up siding, put the walls up, and not have to worry about working in mud. And so it won't matter if we've just had 3 inches of rain. It's not going to matter, because we've got rock on this. Yeah, I've definitely got to dress that up a little bit more with some rock. But we'll have rock on this, and it won't matter. I can come out here and work in some of the, right after some of the nastiest weather. So anyways, there's that. We'll go up here and grab me a rake. I am excited about having some extra room around this barn though, because it's a little bit cramped up there around the house, like with all of my plows and everything sitting around. And there's a lot of stuff up there that doesn't get used a lot, maybe once a year or something. So all of that stuff I can bring down here, and it'll be hidden around the edges of the barn. Anyways, let me go get my rake, and I'll get all this spread out. I went ahead and touched up over there with the tractor and got all this filled in around the footers and stuff with the rake. I do have a little bit left right there that I can scoop up, and I am going to scoop up just a little bit because I've got, I think it was right there, where it's still just a little bit thin. It's not quite as thick as I'd like it to be. But the most part, around these footers and stuff, it's done. So I think what I'm gonna do is scoop out what I need to finish dressing up around this, and then I'm just gonna take the tractor and the box blade and fan all that out there on that end, because that end will be a high traffic area where this is how you come in and out of the barn. And the rock's just gonna sink up out there anyway, so it won't hurt a thing for me to spread what's left out there and get a more thicker layer of rock out there. But I think I'll go ahead and park the excavator back under here and just about call it quits on this for today.
Here's some of our homegrown, home-cured country ham. That's some good-looking stuff. And just like that, it's ready for the freezer. So only several more packs to go. So I will say this before I continue on. You can prepare your country ham a couple of different ways if you do it like we do. A lot of times ham will have this extra fat layer around there like that with the skin on the outside. So a lot of people will just cut that off. There's a line, I don't know if the camera picks it up, there is a line. There's a line that goes across there, and you can just cut it right close to that meat. And you can do that and go ahead and have that out of the way. I like to leave it on there. The only reason being is it really goes good in a pot of beans. And so I'll cut it off right before I cook it, and then just throw that part in my beans the next day or two after I cook my ham. And it all just works together. And so instead of cutting this off, chunking it and freezing it separately, or throwing it out and wasting it, I'm getting double use out of one package of meat in my freezer. That's all just personal preference though. All in what you want to do. And one thing I did forget to mention, if you did miss the video of us slicing this, believe it or not, this piece of meat here is 2 years old. It's been curing since the winter of 2023. And look how fine that looks. It's really got a good, very good flavor, and it's the texture for me. It has a excellent texture. It's always so pretty after you vacuum seal it.
So there's the finished product. Still a little thin, like right in here. Honestly, y'all, I'm not worried about under this building here, because in reality, this is going to be under shelter, so it shouldn't be muddy under this building for long. It is right now because it hadn't had time to dry out since the barn was built, but in the future, I don't see it really being that muddy under there. But I still need more up there. I still need more right in front of the barn. Still need more right there to where I'm going to turn out into the pasture. And I need it right there. So unfortunately, I'm definitely going to have to buy another load of rock. However, I'm not going to do that until it gets cold enough for the ground to freeze again, because that heavy dump truck running up and down our road just makes it even worse when the ground's not froze. Our vehicles don't really hurt that road any, but you take a heavy dump truck running up and down that road and it's as muddy as it is right now, yeah, it just makes a mess. So anyways, once the ground freezes back, I'll get him to bring me another load and dump it right there just like he did that one. I'll get it all spread out, and at that point I think I'll be in good shape.
One more try. Hey, I got 2 more, Mama. Or 1 more. Got 1 more. All right.
Good job. Doing a little bit of practice with their Christmas presents here before we go wrap that hay up. But starting to run out of daylight. It's going to get dark on us pretty quick, but we wanted to get a little practice in first.
So I got all the ham vacuum sealed and put up. I haven't counted them yet, but there's probably, I'd say, 20 bags over there. So now these are like the little hot pieces that are too small to trim into slices. And so I will cut them up into chunks, freeze them on a cookie sheet, and then just throw them in a freezer bag for beans or anything like that later on. I don't know, any kind of crowder peas or beans or field peas, anything like that that I cook has a chunk of meat in it. And that's the way everybody does stuff around here. You know, you don't eat a pot of beans if it ain't got a piece of meat in it. Or you don't fix a pot of beans without a piece of meat. So, that's what I'm doing now. Just chunking these up. Because, I mean, I don't need that whole giant piece in 1 pot of beans. Look how pretty that meat is, though. So there is some of our best looking center cut pieces. It don't get no prettier than that, that's for sure.
Wrap up this mess. There is the problem child stack. I cannot for the life of me keep a tarp on this. That right there has been fine.
This has been the problem the whole time.
Yeah, this one is terrible. Luckily, this stack is just about gone though. I know it ain't a good thing to be wanting the rest of your hay to be got out of here, but I'll be glad when this stack's gone because I'm so tired of wrapping this thing back up. Climb up to the top.
Which side do you want me on?
You stay over there and I'll be over here. Jacob gets up in the top. Or at least, where you at, Jacob?
He's coming.
I'm coming.
Come across and just get up on this side.
I will. I'll do it. These strings are breaking. Don't break strings. You're the only thing holding me up. What do you need?
Grab that right there and just pull it on over.
Ready?
When I was over here the other day, I would have wrapped it up then, but everything was kind of wet from dew. So I didn't. I wanted it all to dry off.
Oh, don't fall, honey.
Whoa.
Don't knock it. What in the world? Abandoned ship.
A little dramatic there, ain't you? All right, y'all, there's rocks laying down here at the bottom. I know that ain't the best way to hold this on, but it works until it don't.
Get it close to it.
That's all. As long as we don't get no heavy breeze, it works.
Well, like you said, hopefully you won't have to deal with it much longer.
Yeah, and I don't think we're supposed to have any high winds tomorrow or anything. I mean, part of the problem is the fact that I don't have a good way to tie that tarp down. Fortunately, that stack's not going to be there much longer. When I come back again, most of that stack will be gone after I make my next trip over here to get hay. Is that right yonder a deer rub up in the woods?
Where?
Walk up in here. I swear that looked like a deer rub.
Oh, over there? I see it.
This is where you ought to be hunting, Megan.
May have to do that next year.
Right there, but it's not a fresh one.
That's a good sized tree though, for a deer to be rubbing on.
I can spot one of them things
I know. You better at it than I am.
I don't even deer hunt, but I tell you what, a deer rub I can spot like it's nothing.
I think I got a bicycle.
Well, y'all go put them on there. It ain't gonna make much difference. But so before y'all jump on to me and say, well, it ain't no wonder your hay's coming unwrapped. You ain't really got it wrapped up good. I know that. You don't have to make me aware of it. I know that.
We're just making it through till we can start using our new hay barn.
Exactly. And it makes absolutely no sense, though, to load all this hay up and move it over there and put it under the hay barn. I'm not putting hay under the hay barn until next spring when we get our first
We would have
cutting.
to make like,
yeah,
oh, I don't even know how many trips. Several.
That
several
doesn't
trips.
make any sense.
Yeah. And plus, especially with this, our biggest thing, this is on here good.
Yeah, this one has held on really good. That plastic has done well. So if I ever have to wrap up hay again outside, I'm doing it with that plastic.
Yeah, that thick plastic versus, ain't that like supposed to be a hay tarp?
No, that was just a regular tarp.
Oh, that's just a tarp.
I never did buy one of those hay tarps.
Oh,
That's too tight.
I don't believe
That thing there was only like $40 versus
How much was the plastic?
the plastic was almost $100, but I've got enough of that plastic to wrap up another run that long again.
So plastic is better than tarps
Absolutely.
when it comes to something like this.
Absolutely. The only thing I did have to do with this plastic was that end was never a problem for some reason, but this end there must have been some moist hay or some damp hay or something, and I had to cut that circle out in order for it to breathe because it was sweating really bad on this end of the plastic. But now that end over there never did sweat none, so that just makes me think that most likely there may have been a bale or two right here that had a little bit of green in it or something. I don't know what caused that, but ain't it quiet over here?
I love it here.
It's so quiet.
It is one of my most favorite places, even though it's not ours. It is
Mine too.
one of my most favorite places.
Mine too. Look what I just seen right here. Another one.
That's a big tree.
Now that's a big tree right there to be scraped. Look at that. That looks fairly fresh too.
We ought to put us a camera over here just see what's here, because that is
That feels really fresh because it's still green feeling.
that's a big tree. Like deers don't usually scrape trees that big.
Yeah, look at this.
Is it a deer or a bear? Especially where that tree's so big.
I don't know, Megan.
Because that tree's
It's only scraped on one side.
that tree's awfully big to have been a deer.
But I'm gonna tell you what, a deer had to do some damage to have peeled it back like that.
It's over here too, though.
Yeah, it's oozing sap.
See?
I don't
I
know.
guess if
Could have been a bear clawing at it.
right there's the remnants.
But it also could have been a deer.
Yep.
I honestly think it was a deer.
That's a big deer, is all I know.
Yeah.
Maggie, we're hunting in the wrong spot.
Yeah, we might have to start putting y'all over here hunting. Well, it's not dark yet, but it ain't far from it.
Getting pretty close.
If you like seeing this over here, I have a feeling this winter you're probably going to see a lot more of it. I've got a lot of work to do over here, and so...
Well, this is our main hayland.
Yeah, and I like to take care of it because she's nice enough to let us use it the way, and doesn't charge us anything. So I like to take care of it, and I do, in some ways, take care of it better than what I take care of my own. But we've got to come over here and go around all these fields. We got to trim the field edges. I mean,
It's a good way to keep warm in the wintertime.
yeah, there's a lot that's got to be done over here. I guess that's going to about wrap it up for today's video.
Yep. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all learned a little something. I always know, guys, that y'all sure do bring a smile to our face. We love reading your comments, emails, all things in between. And just know we sure appreciate it. And we hope we bring a smile to your face. And anyways, guys, till we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.